Hello everyone, and welcome back to another math video. In this video, we are going to focus on how to solve one-step equations. So when we think about solving an equation, the goal is to be able to isolate the variable, which means we want to get the variable, whatever it is, by itself. And to do that, we're going to think about opposites. So if we have something with the variable that's being added, then we're going to do the opposite and subtract. If we have something that's being subtracted, then we're going to do the opposite and add. And then same thing with multiplication and division. If we have something that's multiplied, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. And then if we have something that's divided, then the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So we're all about doing opposites to get that variable by itself. So let's look at a few examples. In example 1, we have x plus 7 is equal to 15. We want to do the opposite. The opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. And to do that, legally, we have to do it to both sides of the equation. So where is a side of an equation? The equals is what separates the sides of the equation. So I'm going to draw like a little box here around the equals. I'm going to think about that like a wall. To cross the wall, I have to do opposites. So the opposite of adding is subtracting, and I have to do that on both sides of the wall. Now, when I take a positive 7 and I subtract 7, that's going to give me a 0. So I'm going to call that, I'm going to refer to that as zeroing out that number. I'm just getting rid of it. So on this side, the only thing left is going to be x plus 0, which is really just an x. And that equal sign is going to follow down inside of that wall. And then I have 15 minus 7 over here on that right-hand side, which is 8. So our answer is going to be x is equal to 8. Now we can always check to see if it's right by plugging it back in. So we said x plus 7 was equal to 15. That was the original equation. We ended up with an answer of 8. So the question is 8 plus 7 equal to 15. And 8 plus 7 is 15. So we know that this is the right answer. So let's try another one. The second equation is y minus 9 equals negative 4. So I'm going to draw my wall again. To cross the wall, I have to do opposites. The opposite of subtracting 9 is adding 9. If I do that to the left side of the wall, I have to do it to the right side of the wall. So remember, math is always fair. Got to do the same thing to both sides of the wall. So I have negative 9 plus 9, which is 0. So that has zeroed out. The only thing left over here is that y. So really it's y plus 0, but y plus 0 is just y. And then equals. And then we have negative 4 plus 9, which is a positive 5. So in this case, we're going to have y is equal to 5. Now, if we wanted to check it, we would just plug it back in. Original equation is y minus 9 equals negative 4. We're asking, is that negative 5? And I'm going to plug negative 5. I'm substituting it in for that y. So is, oh, excuse me, that's not a negative. I don't know what I was thinking there. Y is positive 5. So is that positive 5 going to give me the proper solution? So let's plug it in. Putting a question mark over the equals because this is what we're asking. Is 5 minus 9 the same thing as negative 4? And it is, so we know we have the right answer. In example 3, we have 6 times x equals 32. So when you see a number and a variable together like that, it's understood that this is multiplication. So the opposite is going to be the divide. So to divide, I'm going to draw a line underneath, and that's going to be my division symbol. And I'm going to divide by that number 6. Okay, the reason I do that, and remember I'm doing it to both sides of the equation. So here's my wall. You can see how I divided by 6 on the left and on the right. So 6 divided by 6 is going to cancel out, because 6 divided by 6 is really 1. So this is understood to be 1 times x, which is just x. So I'm going to write that over here. 1 times x is the same thing as just x. And then 42 divided by 6 is 7. So there's my answer. The answer should be x equals 7. Let's check it. So we're going to have 6 times 7, and I'm going to write that times 7 like this with that 7 in parentheses. We want to know, is that equal to 42? Remember, the original equation was 6 times x is equal to 42. 6 times 7 is 42. So we know we've got that correct. Let's try another one. We have n divided by 4, and I'm going to write this way. N divided by 4 equals 8. I'm going to draw my wall. So we're going to ask, what's the opposite of dividing? And the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So I'm going to write this way, multiplying by 4. So now I have this 4 in the top of the fraction and that 4 in the bottom of the fraction. 4 divided by 4 is going to give me a 1. So this is really 1 times n, which is n. And then 8 times 4 on the right, which is 32. If we wanted to check it, we could. I'll check this one. So we have n divided by 4 equals 8 as the original. I'm going to plug that 32 in. I'm asking, is this true? 32 divided by 4 is 8. So we know it works. And you can check every equation. Just plug it back in. So let's look at that next one. X plus 12 equals 5. And this is where you may want to pause the video, try it, come back and check your answer. So the wall is right here. I'll draw it around the equals. X, I'm adding 12. The opposite of adding 12 is subtracting 12. So now the positive 12 minus 12 zeroes out. I'm left with just x on the left. And then 5 minus 12 is a negative 7. So my answer is x is equal to negative 7. So let's try another one. So what if I have it written like this? 3 plus x equals 15. So I'm still thinking about the same process, but now the variable is not the first thing that I see, and I have to be really careful. The goal is to still get the variable by itself. So I got to think about, how can I zero out this 3? So I'm going to draw my wall. So what would I have to do to the 3 to zero it out? Well, I could subtract 3. So if I subtract 3 from both sides, 3 minus 3 is 0. So now I have just that x left on the left, and 15 minus 3 is 12. So we're going to get x is equal to 12 there. Let's do another one. What if we have negative 8 plus x equals 9? Again, we have to be really careful. So we're going to draw a wall. So here's my wall around my equals. I got to do opposites. But right now I have a negative 8. So my opposite isn't coming from the sign in front of the x, it's coming from what's going on with this. that negative 8, to zero it out, we would add positive 8 to it. And what I do to the left, I got to do to the right. Math is always fair. So negative 8 plus 8 is going to zero out. So that's really a 0 plus x, which is x. And then I have 9 plus 18, which is 9 plus 8, which is 17. So I get x is equal to 17. So that's how you solve a one-step equation.